Welcome back to Etheria Restart. Today I'm here with Hermes and we're going to be taking a peek at Valerian, how she was built, what shells are put on her, why it was built that way, and then even take it into battle to talk about exactly where we're using Valerian inside of the game. Remember guys, we've been sponsored by Etheria Restart, and if you want to play the game today for free and to get yourself 10 extra Animus pulls, use this QR code or the link in the description. Get yourself started. Again, thanks to Etheria Restart for sponsoring the video. Hermes, I hope you're doing well, brother, but I want to talk a lot here about Valerian. I want to know how we built her out because you did guide me through a really solid build for her and exactly where she thrives inside of the game.
Yeah, man. I have honestly loved Valerian. I think she was really impactful when I got her on my account. I got her a little bit early and able to use her as like an early support. And
Hmm.
now she's really switched for me into speed farming. I think that's really where she came in for you. You used Sonya a lot early on. I know we talked about that, but you kind of switched a lot to Valerian because of the potential she has with the buffs that she puts out.
Yes, exactly. Now, where do we want to start with it? Do we want to talk about her skills or do we want to go into to her module? Where would you like to start here?
I think honestly talking about her skills is probably a good place to start.
Okay,
Just kind of get those out of the way.
let's do
So
it.
the biggest thing that A1 is honestly is hit or miss, right? It's a 10% chance to put a slumber, and it really it's not that shiny, it's not that fancy.
Yeah.
It doesn't do a lot of damage, it doesn't do much of anything else. It's just a small chance to slumber. If you hit it, get it off on an enemy, that's great. But you never go into a battle expecting that Valerian is going to go in and slumber somebody.
Yep, makes sense. 10% chance is slim at best. So what is it that you like about her then?
So I think that we should probably talk about her A2 next, which is gives that invincibility to herself. So what the important thing on this one is that she actually puts a one turn invincibility on a target ally. So when in manual play, why this is good is because let's say you have someone who's super, super low HP, you can put that invincibility on them. But in manual, let's say that you know that you have a low health support, but you have a high health damage dealer, but you really need that damage dealer to stay alive. You can protect that damage dealer with this invincibility, even though they have higher HP. Whereas I'm pretty sure when you're in auto play, it will
Hmm.
automatically just cast this onto the lowest HP ally. Additionally, all of your allies will get a heal over time, which is a great ability to have. Get yourself a little bit of healing whenever your allies take a turn.
100%. So what do you think then about this health EQU deep sleep?
So deep sleep, this is where Valerian makes her money. So the premise of this one is that what she does is she equalizes all allies' HP, and she basically makes it so everyone goes up a little bit but balances them out. So if you have someone that's at really low, like 10% HP, you
Hmm.
have someone that's up at 100% HP, they would meet in the middle, a little bit around the middle, and that's where their HP would be at. So you have a really high health and you have a really low health, it'll kind of balance everything out. If
Yeah.
everyone's super high health, it'll balance out up there, but you won't really get to see a lot of movement. And that is a good part of her skill. But the really big important part is that Hazy Dream two-turn ability on herself. What Hazy Dream does is it applies a random basic buff on to an ally at the start of their turn while she has this Hazy Dream on her. Now, random buff, you're like, oh, I mean, that's cool, but random buffs, RNG, that's not really fun.
Right.
Well, what's cool is there's actually a specific order. Now, I don't know the entire specific order. The only one that I know that is super, super important is you get increased attack first. You will
Hmm.
always, as long as your allies do not have attack up on them, they will get an attack up buff from Valerian whenever they take a turn. And that is huge for your damage dealers to have at the start of a round.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I know whenever I'm going into battle, you want to buff your team so that they do more damage when they hit their attacks. And it looks like Hazy Dream does exactly that.
Yep. And now you'll see as well the over here, you got to get those skill ups in, right? And I know we've had conversation about this before because it can be really hard to get a bunch of the purple lattice. They're probably they're the most common of the three lattice possibilities, but they're still kind of rare and you want to kind of conserve them when you can. And putting them into that A3 is extremely valuable because Valerian then casts that Hazy Dream ability at the start of the round, meaning that she starts with that Hazy Dream, meaning that whenever your allies take a turn, they will automatically get attack up at the start of each round, which then enables your damage dealers to do more damage. So, and she works really well then with Animus like Ditting to
Mm-hmm.
basically make sure that he can one-shot stuff. Or I think we're going to show a battle. I think we probably should show a battle of
Yep.
her in action doing this with an AoE damage dealer to clear out waves really, really fast.
Let's do it. Before we do, why don't we go into her module and talk about what focuses we had here when building her out?
So the fun thing with Valerian is because she places that hazy dream on herself at the beginning of the round when you upgrade that skill,
Mm-hmm.
she can be fast, but she doesn't need to be the fastest on your team because she's always going to be able to apply that buff. So speed is always going to be important, but it doesn't have to be the most important. So the build recommendation I gave to you was to try to put her in time weave and then give her survivability stats as well as speed. So that time weave, what it does when you get a 12-piece set of time weave is that it gives you the ability to have a chance to reduce the cooldown of your skills, which will get you back around to that hazy dream faster,
Mm-hmm.
which then gets more buffs for your allies. And overall, it's a very valuable build to have.
No, I agree. And is there anything important to discuss here regarding the shell that's being used? Blizzard.
Ooh, I mean, you don't have a great show on Valerian. I feel like I know that like the training materials can be rough to get through, and we actually we're talking about this a little bit. I know, kind of making fun of you with like not high level and not high startup. I mean, it's good to have because he has the ability to reduce some skill cooldowns, but at the same time, there's a lot better ones like Halloween. So I think you just need to get in and farm some shells to get a better one like Halloween to put onto him,
All right,
onto
fair
her, I should
enough.
say.
Yeah, fair enough. Shall we go into a little bit of a battle right here? I'm going to keep it on auto, but I'm going to try and slow it down for us so we can get a good look at what's going on. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
We'll keep it on one time so you can kind of walk us through the process as it goes on.
So you see she's applying that hazy dream right now at the beginning of the round.
Yep.
So now Lily's going to go boost up Romoka, and now Romoka is going to go in and delete the wave. But you see she gets that increased attack buff on her, and then it's just able to clear out these waves super easily with that increased attack.
Yep. And
Now the
she's
important thing to note is that it doesn't actually put that hazy dream on cooldown, so she then can reactivate it right away to give your allies even more buffs, like increased defense, increased speed, all these other buffs that you need.
so she just went in and in round two of this wave, she put in the second hazy dream, which was defense up, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So defense up looks like is what is the second one that is given.
Yep, exactly. All right. Well, I mean, it seems like it makes a lot of sense. She's going to give a nice buff right up at the beginning, and then the team's going to take out the opponents that come across. Where specifically do you like to use her?
Um, Almost everywhere. She is actually a great all-arounder because again, the buffs, the healing that she brings, she's a great healer to use, as well as the buffs that she brings. Um, and so she's very valuable. I know I use her in most of my shell farming. She's really, really useful at enabling my didding. While at the same time in arena, she's really good. I like to play arena on manual, and so I use that invincibility in a smart way to make sure that I'm protecting an
Hmm.
ally that needs to stay alive to get an ability off, to kill the other team, do whatever else that needs to be done.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I appreciate you taking the time to break her down, let everyone know how we have her built out on our accounts, or at least, I'm sure it's fairly similar on yours as well. And, just take the time so that other players can take advantage of using Valerian as well. But my friend, I appreciate you coming through. Again, I need to thank Etheria Restart for sponsoring the video here today. And if you guys haven't played, the QR code and link in the description give you that 10 pull hookup. Any last things you want to mention about Valerian before we head out of here for the day?
Yeah, the one last thing. So obviously she is an SR, but she is a light dark unit
Hmm.
SR. So the important thing to remember is that, and this is for these low spend players, there is a reward where if you spend $1 in the game, you will get Valerian. So all the low spend players in the game will have her. Free to plays, unfortunately, you guys are gonna have to pull her
Hmm.
or go in and spend $1, become a low spend player. I think that I would say that especially if you're struggling to get those increases or those buffs or a little bit of healing, a better healer, I think it's worth the dollar to spend in order to get her.
Okay, so I'm gonna pop a question on you right now, and that is, if you have to throw this one on a tier list, where would you say she lies?
I would say that she is a solid.
I know. I threw it at you, man.
I would. That's an interesting one. Honestly, I feel like across the game, I would say that she is a solid A tier
Fair.
with potential to be S tier as the game progresses and we get better sets to put her on as like gear gets better. As we get better gear, better shells, I think that she can really creep up into that S tier. But right now, at least for me, where I'm using her, I would say that she's an A tier NMS.
No, that's fair, especially for an SR. Thanks again, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate the insight as you have every single video. Remember, guys, subscribe to the channel. We'll be back with another video for all of you very soon. Take care, guys.